So I'm coming to you from the future because I definitely forgot to film an intro and I really didn't know where I was going to kind of start this week's vlog off. So when I was going through and editing and looking at the footage, I kind of decided this week was going to start Wednesday evening of last week, which would have been about September 7th, 8th. I'll have it in the little show notes cards that you'll see on the screen in a minute, but I started off working on the Halloween king-size quilt that I have been trying to get done, and I kind of slacked off on that the rest of the week. I got a little bit stuck with where I am at the measurements and a little scared to cut the big pieces of fabric, but I'm gonna try to be brave and maybe get that done this week before I leave on my next trip. So I worked on that, and then I did get some spinning time in, so you will see some spinning footage in this week's vlog. I have a project that I've been working on for a while. I don't spin that often, so it's been on there for a while, and I have like this much more of the roving to get done. So I'm really excited to maybe finish that up this week if I have time before my next trip, but you'll see some spinning and then a lot of knitting. This past weekend, we celebrated my spouse's birthday with a belated birthday trip. We went up to Canada since we live in Vermont. We're only about an hour and a half from the Canadian border. So I've got some footage of our drive and knitting in the car. And then we spent the weekend at a cabin and I didn't really take much footage there. And on the way back, we did stop at the Montreal Botanical Garden. If you ever get the chance, it's a gorgeous, gorgeous, huge garden right in the heart of Montreal. And there are different events and they have different kind of showcases all year. So it doesn't matter what time of year you're there, they always have something really, really gorgeous. But we went through the garden and I did some knitting as we were walking through. I knit if we're hiking, I knit if we're out like walking. So I'll show you some of the knitting I was working on as we walked around the garden, and also my knitting bag that I really, really love. So enjoy this week's footage and I will see you all in a little bit. Where I left off last week, I was piecing together the pattern stripes for that king-sized Halloween quilt. So I'm working here on getting some of those finished. I've gotten all the measurements figured out. And after this, I work on the dark gray, kind of black stripes that will go in between the pattern sections. And then I started laying it all out on my quilt wall to make sure that I had them in the right order and it looked how I had envisioned it when I was planning it out in my head. So I will take you through some clips of those. I'm so excited to finally be able to start sewing the strips together so I can start piecing kind of the bottom right corner of the quilt and really see it start to take shape, and also figure out what and how much of the black fabric I need for the really big top section, because I really want to have this on the bed this October for spooky season. I think it's going to be such a cute quilt for Halloween. So I'm really glad that I've at least gotten this far with the piecing. On Thursday, I sat down and did some spinning. You'll see me pre-drafting a little bit of the roving there. And then I typically do a short draw, kind of a modified short draw. I don't really follow exact spinning techniques. I am not the person to ask about those details. I just do it for fun, and I like the yarn that I can make. So I find it really relaxing just to sit and spin for a while. If you've never watched anyone spin live and in person before, I always get told that it will put cats, babies, and small children to sleep. So I'm going to speed up a little bit of the footage so you can see what I got done, and then I'll show you what the yarn looks like up close. This is the roving that I'm using. I've had it for several years. It's from, let's see, I'll get the card out here, 2If by Hand. They are no longer in business, but this was the Prophecy colorway. That was one of their Harry Potter colors, and I really love how it's spinning up. So you can see all of the blue section that I just finished spinning, and of course Larson wants to come say hi. But you can see my singles there, and I'm really close to being finished with this, and then I'll be plying and it'll be done. So this weekend we went to Canada just for a couple days to celebrate my spouse's birthday. So I got some car knitting done. Still working on the same sock that I have been on. So this is the second sock from the Skeincocaine sock yarn. So I will have the project linked below to my Ravelry project page, and I'm really happy with how the colors are working up so far. So I'm excited to hopefully get these done in the next couple of weeks. But we headed into Canada, and luckily there was not really a wait at the border where we cross, which is pretty rare. We've had to wait up to an hour before, so it's a pretty easy trip this time. On Sunday, on our way back from the cabin that we stayed at, we stopped at the Montreal Botanical Garden, which is absolutely beautiful. So I have some footage of the plants that they have in bloom right now, and a little bit of me knitting as we walked through the garden. One other thing that I did just want to show you really quickly is the backpack that I use when I'm knitting on the go. It's the Knitter's Backpack from Ritual Dyes, and I'll have that linked down below, but it doesn't have any zippers or closures that will catch your yarn as you're knitting, so it's a really awesome bag. And that's it for this week. I hope you all enjoyed this. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you liked it, and leave me a comment. Let me know what projects you're working on, and I will see you next week.